Xin chào. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. My name is Aya Miyaguchi from the Ethereum Foundation. Okay, I will wait for the slide to come on the screen. Queen said, that, what is it? Decoration is not that fancy. I didn't really feel that way. The venue is great. Looks very nice. Oh, here you go. Okay. So, again, hello, Xin Chao, and great to be here in Vietnam. And this is the first Ethereum event that I joined in this country. So it is extra exciting. Ethereum communities in Southeast Asia are growing, and it's the timing is also perfect because we see who are actually building when the market is quieter. And so, as you know, this year has been full of events and the good events and not so good things recently. But like hearing the crypto news, a lot of old friends of mine contacted me asking like how you are doing, to check up on me, and then also how the EF is doing. And then I say we're doing fine. And then in fact, what we see in the world is exactly why we're working on Ethereum and our vision. And like what we do remains the same. So today I will share the vision of the EF and who we are, as I believe many of you might be newer to the Ethereum community. And also, I received a request to talk about one of our principles, subtraction, which I shared at DevCon a month ago. We believe Ethereum is a protocol for human coordination. It's not just money, it's not just technology, it is a protocol for human coordination that is supported by many great minds so that it can enable humans to coordinate better with more inclusiveness, transparency, and security. And to support the protocol and the ecosystem around it, this is the vision we have, Infinite Garden. I've been sharing about the vision of this since last year. This is the vision for the Ethereum ecosystem. To those who haven't heard about this, I got inspired by the book called Finite and Infinite Games. The book explains while finite players play games to win the game, infinite players play games to continue the play. So this vision of Infinite Garden is for Ethereum to stay full of infinite players, growing as organically as possible to maintain the soul of Ethereum. The merge this year work will let everyone to join at different layers more easily, and it's a great example to show how a game was played for everyone to continue the game, not to win the game. So what has been the role of the Ethereum Foundation, the EF, in this garden? How have we been making decisions and taking actions? EF is not a company and not a normal organization. It's more like a community. And teams in the EF community are very aligned in mission, but that loosely coupled. This structure allows us to support the ecosystem more effectively, especially when things in Ethereum changes quickly every day. And also lets us distribute power to support more organic growth. We are not a normal top-down organization. In order for EF teams to support this unique and decentralized ecosystem, the teams need to act independently, but they also need to act toward the same mission. And I said our team members are very mission-oriented, but how do we maintain the mission? So there are guiding principles that are key to the way we think and act. First one is long-term thinking. You may not see the impact of what we are doing today for even a year. We believe our impact should be measured in decades or even longer term. We need to think about the time when we are not here or when we are not alive anymore for the next generation to come. And sorry, I think the number is fixed. But the next is stewardship of values. Like I said, Ethereum has a soul. You know, the values of our community are what made Ethereum what it is. Values like open source, decentralization, open access, privacy, and many more. So we try to nurture the values and also advocate the values the best for the community. Last one is subtraction. So this one normally takes longer to explain, and that's why I take time to explain this to the young people and then also people outside. So we resist the natural tendency of organizations to accumulate prestige and power. You know, like we don't capture opportunities for ourselves, and instead we distribute opportunity outwards. And we're excited when others succeed. And we also try to matter less. And you know, like we so that the ecosystem can thrive without the in the long run. A little bit of how it started. So I also explained this at DevCon. When I joined EF wasn't really an organization or even a team. It was a collection of devs and researchers doing like a different projects. So naturally, when I joined the Ethereum Foundation, the pressure and a lot of requests were thrown at the Ethereum Foundation. Okay, new executive director joined, so they should, and also they seem to have a lot of, you know, like money. They should be able to do a lot of things. So I received a lot of requests. The organization received a lot of requests. So during my early time, people suggested different ideas. Some ideas included hiring the CTO of Ethereum at the Ethereum Foundation. We don't really have that now, right? Or chief strategy officer of Ethereum at the Ethereum Foundation. Like hire all the top talents in the world to the Ethereum Foundation. And basically, like the people wanted me to build an EF empire. It was not technically impossible because the price of Ether was already decent. And also, it is important to mention those ideas were not seen as crazy ideas. Why is that? If you have a startup or own a blockchain, you know that is happening a lot in the world now. If you own a blockchain, it's a normal things to do. And why is that? Because our brains are trained to add. And I use this test to show what that means. Here is a Lego bridge. It looks wobbly and unstable. What would you do? Yes, I'm serious, right? Yes. Did you think of this? So there was a study about this Lego bridge. I also tested with people around me. Most people think about adding 2 blocks on the bottom left, especially when you see more Lego blocks in front of you. When you are given more resources, it's more natural to add and spend without thinking about the option to subtract. Thank you for doing this. So going back to my earlier days, with this natural human tendency, you know, like no one gave me, like the people gave me only option to add.
Dạ em nghe
Luckily,
nè,
my
sao chị?
brain was less engineers to add. So instead of taking the path to add more and then making EF
Ủa chỗ
Empire,
nào ta? Cái chỗ
I
hôm trước anh
decided
chỉ
to
chị
go
là
the other way to
in
subtract.
được hết rồi mà.
From there,
Chạy
subtraction
không được là
became
sao?
my philosophy
Nó bị
to
khác
build
chỗ nào?
our
Nó
team,
bị
and
chỗ
it
nào chị?
also became our underlining strategy to achieve our mission. The mission to support the Ethereum ecosystem, the infinite
Mấy bên
garden,
em là
to
lên
support the
mưa.
like Ethereum ecosystem as a whole, not
Dạ đúng
just
rồi.
specific projects, the Ethereum Foundation.
Nó không
So this is
ra được
how
hay
the
là sao
Ethereum
chị?
community started to develop. So now EF have two different types of teams in the Ethereum community. They're
Dạ.
ongoing development teams, and they have pretty good independence. As you can see, consensus R&D,
Chị
Ethereum
chụp hình em coi,
consensus
chị chụp hình em coi
R&D
cái
are
mà chị
not
in ra rồi
done
đi.
by only EF people anymore. There are many more contributors outside of the Ethereum Foundation. So these teams work with
Dạ, với lại chị
outside
coi lại giùm em
contributors
thử cái
and
kích thước của
teams
cái
because
bằng ở
there
ngoài á,
are
với lại cái số
more
input là đúng
outside of
chưa?
EF. And the other ecosystem development teams, those are the
Dạ.
ones that have been added more recently when EF
Tại vì bên
shifted
em đâu
to
có cái
support the
bằng đó để đo đâu.
ecosystem,
Thì bên
not
em
just
quy
to
đổi thôi
build
hết luôn.
things. So these teams don't really build things, but they find ways to support the ecosystem with a big picture. So their roles include building
Dạ,
relationship,
ok.
allocating
Chị gửi em
funds,
cái.
giving grants. That also was added, since the shift,
Phủ bì là đúng
and
vô cái
facilitating
máng ngoài á đúng không
education,
chị?
spotting risk.
Dạ.
And there are two goals that subtraction can achieve. One is to seek the right balance. Because the Ethereum ecosystem is decentralized, the balance often gets off. For example, some teams and individual might get too much, power. Like EF used to be like one of them. And the other second goal is to focus on what is most important. Ethereum has become the biggest community
Dạ.
in blockchain space, and also it's
Dạ.
becoming the biggest communities in open source communities. So there are just too many things, and too many things needed to be improved. So we can't just do all of them. EF needs to focus on only what EF can do.
Để em coi lại tại vì cái
And
này thì
aiming these
bên
goals,
trường in ra
subtraction is
vẫn được
best
á,
for
nhưng mà tại
Ethereum,
vì
and
em
in
sợ cái
fact,
hình
I
mà hôm bữa
believe
chị gửi
it's
em cái mẫu
very
bằng gửi lên
critical
á
for
là không phải là
Ethereum's
chị scan trực tiếp mà là chị chụp
decentralization.
cái hình á xong rồi gửi lại cái hình đó
And
mình
also,
scan
at the
lại
end
thì
of the
nó lại
day,
bị sai.
we subtract because we believe in Ethereum. We believe
Đâu cái
Ethereum can change the world. I hope
tại
you
vì cái
believe
hình chị
so
gửi em
too.
là nó có thêm cái viền trắng nó nhiều
And
hơn
we
chị nhớ
believe
không?
the Ethereum's potential is too great for any single organization to own. So
Dạ.
that's why we subtract. There are many examples, but I like to share a few of how EF executed with subtraction today. Ethereum.org website. Have you used the Ethereum.org website? And if you have used it, it doesn't look like this. This is how the website looked like in 2018. And it mainly showed the project that EF was working on. But now, I hope this works. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. It doesn't, never mind. Just imagine or check out Ethereum.org website. Now it has all the content, it became open source. We still support the server and the team who is building it, but the contents are open source, and it's basically suggested and created by community members. There are more than 900 active contributors to the contents, but also it has 48 different languages now, including Vietnamese.
Ủa bên intern quay họ làm gì vậy?
Somehow
Có bị
this
khùng không?
working.
Ở đây không có việc cho hắn làm hả?
Không hiểu luôn, hết cái đi bán thôi.
Xàm. Rảnh quá mà.
Sorry, this screen is not working on the right side. Okay, ENS, I'm going to keep just talking. ENS is one example that graduated from the Ethereum Foundation. It originally started at the EF, but the leadership or actual team lead understood the importance of them becoming independent before they officially launched. And like we supported them to graduate, but now they're fully independent, like running a DAO, as you know. Okay, last but not least. So like I said, Ethereum's R&D is not just run by EF members anymore. And the merge was amazing, not just because how difficult it is to execute, but also it is executed by the decentralized community in a decentralized way. So that's also an example of subtraction. So as subtracting does not just create the space for others, it creates infinite growth with no limitation. With subtraction principle and strategy, even with my most modest view, humble view, I can confidently say the Ethereum ecosystem grew bigger than anyone had expected. EF used to be equal to the entire ecosystem. But not only EF has become just a small part of it, the entire size of the ecosystem has grown so much. So Ethereum is lucky now that this is like a growing garden, but Ethereum has now like limited amount of potential. It's just like nature has unlimited amount of like a growth. And with subtraction principle, I'd like to share what's relevant to this country. Currently, Ethereum is still Western oriented, and more information is out there in English. More communities have developed in English-speaking countries, despite the fact that there are a lot of like big opportunities in the places like Vietnam or Southeast Asia. So the next billion initiative is also for the balancing act. I like to encourage people to think about who will be the next billion builders of Ethereum, who will be the next billion users of Ethereum. 2/3 of babies that are born today are born in developing economies. So that's a very important question to ask. And like I said, the Ethereum.org website now has 48 different languages. That's also another reason why it's this. And this is something you should be proud of, the country Vietnam. I've been watching this global crypto adoption index that this, chain analysis makes regularly. Vietnam wasn't number one until recently, and then somehow it has like top one, and it's sorry. So it is very amazing achievement, and like I like to know actually how this happened, and I know like some of the like key players are the key, but it's still becoming number one is a big deal. So I'm here to learn about the reasons. And because of this, sorry, my mind is scattered. So as you can see, not just Vietnam, but a lot of countries on the top 10 are from developing countries. So this is why we did DevCon in Bogota, Colombia, and also supporting the communities in Latin America. that's another place, like a good place as an example. And I like to show the development of Latin America to you today because there are a lot of good learning you can see. So this is a photo from DevCon. Yes, and our DevCon teams did an amazing job, but it wasn't just great because of our team. It was great because the communities in Latin America, they made it their own. Like they participated, they took ownership of many things around and inside DevCon. So you can see the excitement here. And within last few years, Latin American community grew very strong. For them, Ethereum is not just a technology or just easy money, it's a way to tackle countries' biggest problems. Inflation, refugee crisis, poverty, environmental challenges. And Buenos Aires has the biggest female representation in the crypto space. And the reason why is that it is not just new tech. It is necessary for them to learn about this. They live with inflation waves every single day. So they have to know about this solutions, okay, technology that can build solutions. So that's why there are a lot of women in it. And there are a lot of educational efforts that are made in Latin American communities, and also educational contents were made in Spanish, of course, in their language. And this is one of the biggest education platform, and the last one, Proof of Integrity, is giving education to people in slum that I also participated. And they also do have some strong technical teams for the Ethereum's infrastructure or the culture. As you know, POAP is proof of attendance, established like an important part of Ethereum culture. And also as Open Zeppelin is providing good security for Ethereum's infrastructure. And also, because of that motivation, that are creating, the solutions that are solving real world issues, and then that is something that I think I'd like to see in this country or in part of Southeast Asia too, because there are similar motivations you can find in the region. And speaking of world use cases, my biggest mission in staying involved in this industry is to create real-world solutions, like I said. This was not possible when the platform's technical capability was too limited, maybe a few years ago. But we are seeing a growing number of real-world use cases, and that's something like a fascinating and very exciting for me. And I will show you some of the example that is, I would like you to think about the types of problems instead of the project name, because they're still, developing, and then we want to see more teams to join to solve those type of problems. And this is one example. This side, there are a lot of problems in pharmaceutical medical industry, and then those challenges are really hard to solve because the process is too complicated, funding is hard to get, incentive mechanism is collapsed. So some teams are trying to solve that. And this one is also using, I think you've heard of VitaVal. And this is one of our fellows that is working on, but we should be able to see this in different projects and then also at different parts of the world. This one was example was in Africa, basically providing insurance to smallholder farmers in Africa. And like using blockchain technology, you can coordinate the payments in a better way, and then even farmers can receive payments early enough to cover the cost of the crops of the next season, which is actually very important to the farmers there. And also 2 million informal workers around the world get excluded from the formal financial system. So this rotating saving and credit association, or saving circles that they call, is also like the important project that can be solved by blockchain. Using blockchain, saving circles can be like created very quickly, like within minutes. So that's something that is being worked on some of the project in the community. Environmental issues. We hear a lot about carbon offset project. I personally prefer to see more of the projects that are directly working on things like energy efficient, like efficient energy production, or energy sharing, that kind of thing. We like to see more of those. If you hear or work on similar project, please let us know. So looking at these examples, I'm certain you can think about solutions you can build in your country or Southeast Asia. Greatest solutions always come from necessity in life, and there is great momentum like this week at this event. And true decentralization provides real participation and competition. We subtract so you can add. You do not have to wait for us or any centralized companies to tell you what to do. Build your own project, solution, and start building community around it. We're here to help, and you're the one to start. Thank you so much.